Hello, so in this video, I'm going to be showing you how Educare CBT works. So I'm going to start off with showing you how students take the CBT assessment. After that, I'll show you how the student can see the result analysis. After they are done, then I'll take you to a teacher's end to see where you can create, how you can create questions and assessments, CBT questions and assessments, then also show you the security features we have on the CBT. So starting off from the student end, which I'm logged in as a student right now. If a student wants to take the CBT, they can either just click on this CBT here or go from the side menu. So clicking on the CBT, the student can see all the CBT available for them to take. So if I see this ones with a red attempt here, it means that the deadline to take that assessment has exceeded. So the ones with the green, the student can take it. So the one you can see practice here, it means that student can take it over and over again. It's not a one-time assessment. So if I use the practice one and click on proceed, it takes me to the assessment. I can see the instruction for the assessment before I click on start. So once I click on start, it's giving me another instruction. Note that you cannot leave this test once you start. So there's a security feature activated by the admin that enables a full screen mode. So once I start, it activates that full screen mode. So it means that this student won't be able to access the tab menu on their browser. So all they need to do is take the test and move on. So I'm just going to randomly answer questions here. So these are questions that has been set. So I can navigate either using the next and previous button, or I can navigate using the numbers up here. However, if I want to see every single thing on a single page, I can click on review answers and I can see all questions on a single page. I can see those that I have answered already. So if there's anyone I'm yet to answer, I can just click on go to this question. It takes me there and I answer it. For me to be done with this, I have to go to the last question before I can see the submit final. If I'm on any other question, that button would show up till I get to the last. So once I'm done, I can just click on submit final and it prompts me, are you sure? If I want to proceed, I'll click on yes. And that is it. I'm done with this assessment and you can see my score, 2 out of 49. So if I return to the main window, as a student, if the admin or the teacher that created this assessment allowed you to be able to view it, the student can come to the test results to view how they performed. So if I come here, I can see the test I just took now. So all I need to do is click on details on this particular test and it's going to show me the analysis on my performance. So looking at this, I can see out of 49 questions, I answered, there are 47 multiple choice and 2 sub questions as multiple. So I also can see the time I spent answering each question. Question 1 took me 14 seconds. Question 2, 1 second, a second. Question 3, just like that. So you can tell how long a child spent on each question. I can also see the topic charts. So if the teachers, when creating these questions, tag those questions to topic, this lets you know the gap analysis of a child. You can know that probably the reason this child failed is this child didn't answer questions well under this topic. So this child needs help in help in this particular topic. That's what this gap analysis helps you know. Then going further down is the script itself. So this is how the child performed. So this child has access to all of this. If the teacher goes further to give the explanation of the correct answer, it also helps the child learn. But it's not compulsory you give this. The system can just help you automatically mark this with the correct answer, but you can go further to explain the correct answer if you want the student to learn from it. So basically, this is how the CBT is from the student end. So the next, I'm going to show you this analysis from the admin's end, and also um, show you the CBT settings, or we'll be looking at that shortly. Okay, so we are back. From the admin end, I would like to show you the analysis from this end. So if I select that same class I used, this was the assessment. If I click on test detail, as an admin, you'd be able to see. So this information is the same either from admin or from the teacher's end. It depends who. It depends on who created the assessment for the students to take. So in this case, it was created by the admin. So I can see all the students that took this assessment. If I click on result detail for any one of them, it's basically just going to show me what you saw, the analysis you saw from the student end. So the one you should be concerned with on the admin end when it comes to analysis is the general class analysis, which is this here. If I click this for more detail, it's going to show me how the average performance of everyone that took this exam. So every analysis you're seeing here is an average of every student that took it. So the good thing about this part is when it comes to the question and answer section, you're going to see you can see this. I can see this particular question now. I can see the correct answer, and I can see the percentage of people that took this that got it correctly. So I can see 25% here. It means out of everyone, all the students that took this assessment, only 25% were able to get this answer correctly. So examiners or teachers or the admins can use this information to know questions that were difficult for students to answer and all of that. So this is one good part of the analysis from the admins end or the teacher's end. So the next is I would like to show you how you can create these questions and also create assessment on the system. We can either do this from the admin or from the teachers, but let's do it from the teachers since I've not gone to the teachers end. So from the teachers end, if I come to CBT and come to question bank, so question bank is basically where houses all the questions you have. So this teacher is assigned to take home economics. If she wants to add questions on a question bank, she can simply just click on new question. If you want to import bulk questions, you can click on import questions. Clicking on import question would open a wizard where you can download a sample Excel template to populate your questions and upload. But me personally, I prefer just adding the question directly on the platform. So if you click on new questions to add your questions, the next thing is you're going to see the different type of questions we have. So we have the multiple choice single answer. This kind of questions, you put your questions here and you have your questions option A, B. I can add as many options as I want. I can remove options I don't want. Once you type in the options, the way the system marks it is you select which is the correct answer. So I can select probably B is the correct answer. And when that is done, that is how the system marks it. So this you can set the difficulty level for each questions you're setting. You can also type, remember in the analysis where we have the topic, the gap analysis, this is where you attach a question to a topic. So as you're adding questions to topic, it's creating this drop down for you. So if you want to add another question and the topic is not on the drop down, you can simply just click on this add button here and type in the new topic name, and that is it. So these tags you see here is at some point you might have hundreds of questions in your question bag or thousands of questions. So this tag, you can use this tag to be able to filter out questions when you want to set an assessment for the student. So you can tag the questions to different things that will help you just sort it out basically. So that's what this tag option is here. Is actually optional if you want to use it or not. Then you also have this answer add answer explanation. So you remember I said students can use that to learn as well. So the teacher can go further to add explanation to the answer. So you can go further to explain why the correct answer you chose is actually the correct answer. If you don't want to, you can ignore this. So this show as editor you see here is if I want some of the answer options to be like a picture format, I'll just convert this simple text box to a rich text box by clicking on this. So this would allow me to be able to paste pictures as options as well. So the next I'm going to be showing you is, okay, let me just go back to add question. So I've explained multiple choice, single answer. The next is multiple selection. So for multiple selection, the only difference is you'd notice this answer options is no longer a radio button but a checkbox. So it means that more than one option can be the answer. That is just the difference between the multiple selection and the multiple choice single answer. So the next is the subjective questions. So subjective questions is basically theory question. When you put your question here, answer option type is basically how do you want the student to provide the answer? It's either a text box or a file upload. So once students see the answer, if you select the text box option, they are going to see a text box like this where they can type in the answer. If you select a file upload, they're just going to see a button where they can easily upload a file as the answer, basically. Then the last but not the least we have here is the comprehension kind of questions. So comprehension is basically, as we all know, like comprehension passages. You put the passage here, then coming down here, you can see the different questions being used to answer the comprehension passage. So you can see question one, you type in your questions with the question options. I can add question two. So I can add different questions that are being used to answer this parent question. So this doesn't just work for comprehension questions as the name goes. It applies to any question that must follow each other. Emphasis on must. So if I have a question like use this question to answer question this to this, I can put that parent question here or use this diagram to answer the question below. So all those kind of questions, you use the comprehension kind of question to set it. So those questions must follow each other. So you use this to set those kind of questions. So basically, these are the different kind of questions we currently have on our CBT. So once the teacher has created these questions on the CBT and she wants to set an assessment, all she needs to do is come to the Manage CBT to set the assessment. And from the Manage CBT, if I want to create an assessment, select the class and the subject. And this assessment has been given set already by this teacher. If I want to create a new one, I can clone existing assessments or just create a new one. So creating a new assessment, I can just enter the title of the assessment, probably um, test 3. The code, I can use an existing code or just create a new one. Use the same thing if I want. Then total marks per question. So probably I want all questions to take 1 mark each. Then enable random question selection. If this is turned on, it brings an additional field of maximum question. So I can set maximum question here to be 5. And when I'm adding questions to this assessment, I can add up to 50 questions. So what the system is going to do is, for all students taking this, is randomly going to select 5 questions out of the 50 questions I added and set to the students. So this is when you don't want them to have the same type of questions. But if you want them to do the same type of questions, you don't need to turn this on, just turn it off. So enable practice test, if this is turned on, it means that the students can take this over and over again, this particular assessment. But if it's a one-time assessment you want to give to the students, you need to turn this off. So start date and time, end date and time. You use this when you want all the students to start at the same time. So I can set an exam for probably today or tomorrow by probably 2 p.m. And even when I set this exam and send it out to the student would see it, but they won't be able to take that particular assessment till that date and time I have set. So the same thing applies to the end date and time. Once the end date and time has exceeded, students will no longer be able to take that particular exam or assessment. So I can set the duration of the assessment here. It can be, I can set the hours here and set the minutes here. If it's 0 minutes, I can set it. So this exam is currently 1 hour right now. So I can enable shuffle questions. If this is turned on, it means someone's number one question might be my number five. I can shuffle the answers on. It means your option A might be my option C. For this last two, if this publish result automatically is turned on, it means that once the students are done with the assessment, they'll be able to see their score immediately. If I also turn this allow to view correct answer on, it means aside just seeing only their score, they will be able to see their scripts and the analysis, everything about their own performance. They will be able to see it. So this is where the teacher can input instructions for the student. You can either add any instruction or you leave it blank. So once I'm done, the teacher can just click on submit and I can continue to what is next. What is next is to assign questions to this assessment you just created, and this gives you access to your question bank. So you can add questions from your question bank. Remember the part I said you can tag questions. I can just call up a tag and it brings up questions under that tag. So I can just add. So I'm just going to randomly add some questions here. So once I just add this, I can just continue. And the next step is it took me to all the students, to a list of all the students in that class. So if there are some students, if this assessment is meant to be taken by all, by default, all students are ticked. If there are some students that are not supposed to take this, I can manually unselect those students. If there are just few students I want to take this, I can unselect all and select those that I want to take this particular assessment, basically. So once this is done, I'm just updating and I'm leaving here. Once I click on go back, another thing I need to let you know, I can reorder the questions here. If I want them to come in a particular order, I can basically drag and drop to move the questions. And remember, I assigned 1 mark for all questions. If I want to increase the weight mark of a particular question, I can simply just click on the mark here and change this particular one to probably 2 marks and save. So this is going to have a different mark from the rest. So once I'm done, I can just go back. So this is the assessment I just created. Currently, it has not yet been published. This is the status here. So if I want to publish this, all I need to do is click on publish. I can decide to preview this before I publish. Previewing just gives the teacher access to see what the students are going to see when they want to take this assessment. If you've looked at it and everything is okay, you can just leave here, return, then you publish it. Once you publish, then this is available to the students. So this is how easy it is to create assessments from a teacher's end. So the next I'm going to be showing you is the security features we have on our CBT. So if I come to the admin end, under CBT, I'm going to see the CBT setup. So under the CBT setup, I have the setup here, which is other setup. So the security features we have here is you can see the full screen mode. It's already turned on. So what this means is if the admin turns this on, it means once a student starts taking a CBT assessment, the CBT assessment takes over the entire screen of that student. So the student won't be able to access the browser tabs or anything on their screen. But with that, the student can still decide to exit and continue. But if you don't want them to exit at all, you put on this option submit on full screen exit. If this is turned on, it means that if the student tries to exit that full screen mode, the system is going to prompt the student that exiting this would automatically submit your script and is going to score you based on your progress so far. So if they proceed to exit, it just submits their script and score them based on where they've gotten to so far in the assessment. So this is what this does. Then we have the single sign-in option. The single sign-in option, what it does is it prevents more than one student account to be logged in at the same time. So you can't have your login details used in multiple devices to access the CBT. So you can only be logged in to access the CBT assessment in one device. So this helps mitigate any kind of malpractice the students might be planning. Then we also have the offline CBT. So the offline CBT enables students to be able to take the CBT assessment offline. So they don't need internet connection on their device to take the CBT. All they need is a host laptop, which is going to be hosted by the admin, and all the student laptop will be connected locally to that admin's laptop, and they can take the CBT. So these are some security features we have here. We also have the IP restriction. So you can restrict students taking a particular exam to a certain IP range, so that if there's someone trying to access the CBT remotely and you want everything to be done probably in the school premise, you can just set the start IP range and end IP range. So anybody outside this IP range won't be able to won't be able to take the CBT assessment. So we have this here as well. So there are other settings and intervention and remark that happens, like the CBT test reset. I can reset students that has taken the CBT to take it all over again. So all of this are available on the CBT platform. I hope this helps, and there are more videos on the CBT and the offline CBT on our YouTube page. Thank you very much.